Pika time, y'all know what it. Oh shit, oh shit, it's Pika time. Pika view. Y'all know what it is. We're gonna see what it is coming up. Some more and some more other. What is it now? Doomsday plans revealed. We're looking at possible theories, possible plans, possible things that they got up in the works. The big elite, the rich. Um, let's just see what's really going on underneath that hood. You know what I'm saying? Without further ado, play that thing for your dude.
You crying for it? I'm joining the clan. You crying for it? Dummy. Yeah.
All right, we back. Let's see here. Pika Power. Play it up.
Loan scheme backed by the European Investment Bank. Doomsday. It's hard to even say that with a straight face, but listen to this quote. The European Union just announced its first ever continent-wide doomsday stockpile of fuel, food, medicine, and even mobile bridges. But should believers panic or prepare in faith? You see how ridiculous this is? Take a look at this article, okay? Continually, in my opinion, just fear-mongering. That's what it seems to me. They want to keep people in this perpetual state of fear. Why? Because when people are in a state of fear, easily controllable, right?
True.
Just a theory, but take a look at this article. And I'll also show you the official EU website after. This was posted on the 9th of July. So very recently. So first of all, let's start off with the Guardian article. And this is just ridiculous in my opinion, but this is real, okay? EU urged to build stockpiles to prepare for pandemic, natural disaster, or invasion. European Commission unveils strategy for storing medicine, generators, and raw materials. This seems like something is going on, but they are just, presenting it in this very strange way, which almost feels like, hey, everybody, be afraid, right? That's what it feels like. The EU should develop stockpiles of medicine, generators, and raw materials to be better prepared for a military invasion, pandemic, or natural disaster. Where's this coming from, right? Where's this random situation just coming from? Oh, everybody do this, right? And the European Commission has said this. It's literally coming from there. Outlining its first ever strategy on stockpiling, the EU executive said on Wednesday, outlining its first ever strategy on stockpiling. The EU executive said on Wednesday member states should also consider emergency supplies of water, purification products, equipment to repair undersea cables, drones, and mobile bridges for use in conflicts. Do you remember a few years ago where there was all of these documentaries like, look at these doomsday preppers, look how stupid they are. Fast forward to 2025, the EU are like, hey, everybody be doomsday preppers. This is crazy, this world we live in. I'm being for real. And by the way, I'm not making fun of people who prep. I personally do prepare, but it's just insane how now all of a sudden it's like this big thing. Everybody become this thing that we were mocking for so many years. Look, this guy's ready.
Now,
watch out for that big spider.
Is doomsday prepping silly?
Well, even according to the EU now, it's apparently not silly. But let's keep reading with this. Earlier this year, the European public was urged to stockpile enough food, water, and essentials for 72 hours to cope with a military attack, natural disaster, power cut, or major industrial accident. As part of the EU's preparedness strategy, officials are working out what governments should stockpile and how to bolster readiness.
Hold on. That must say for 72 hours.
Dummy. Yeah. Dummy. Yeah. Dummy. Yeah.
That's just 3 days, bitch. What the fuck? You don't need to stockpile much. All you need is 3 cans, nigga. You don't really need that much for 3 days. You goddamn me. Get yourself 3 canned goods. You hold yourself good. Great. What is it? Yeah.
For a health emergency, such as a pandemic, antimicrobial resistance, chemical, nuclear, or biological threat. Yeah, and this is the lady who seems to be in charge of all this. Moving on swiftly. The EU Commissioner for Crisis Management, Haja Labib. Who is this person and where is she from? A Belgian journalist of Algerian origins, television presenter, director, and politician who has been serving as the European Commissioner for Preparedness. Oh, she has a little speech. Let's check what she has to say.
The more we prepare, the less we fear. You would not get in your car without putting on your seatbelt. Preparedness works the same way. It gives us security before the impact. That is what we are doing for Europe now with these two new strategies. Allow me to start with the stockpiling strategy. This is the first time the European Union is adopting a truly common approach to stockpiling. Our goal is clear: to make sure that essential supplies are available when and where they are needed. We will do this through better planning, close coordination, and taking shared ownership. We must move away from a fragmented, reactive model and shift towards a proactive, coordinated approach. Medical countermeasures such as vaccines,
There it is. There it is.
therapeutics, diagnostics and protective equipment and strategic assets. Strong preparedness also requires investment, of course, but the cost of inaction is far greater. The pandemic showed us that the price we pay when we are unprepared. With this medical countermeasure strategy, we are making a clear promise to our people. When the next crisis hits...
When? You see how these people speak? When? It's unbelievable. It's actually unbelievable that these people are that bold in front of the masses to say when. Not if, but when. It's like, to me, that comes across as the biggest fear-mongering that you could possibly do. Because sadly, and I say this with all due respect, sadly, a lot of people in, the world are not very intelligent, and they are easily manipulated by statements such as that. Just switching a word from if to when changes a lot of people who are suggestive into a state of fear. When? Oh, something's gonna happen. Oh, do you see what I'm saying? And it's very, very cruel, in my opinion.
He ain't lying.
Because, in an ideal world, people shouldn't have to feel that way. People shouldn't have to be dealing with this continual psychological trap because of the way that these political people speak. It's actually very sad. Very, very sad. But anyway.
Europe will be ready to act quickly and to save lives.
I had a gun.
From what?
Be crazy.
From what exactly? They're just putting all of these possible things that could happen and saying, get ready. Mental. I'm trying to keep this video as lighthearted as possible because actually this is a very sick situation that is going on. It's a very manipulative and sad situation that's going on. Okay? Here is the official EU website. EU stockpiling and medical countermeasure strategies to strengthen crisis readiness and health security. The European Commission launches today 2 initiatives under its Preparedness Union agenda as EU stockpiling strategy and a medical countermeasures strategy. Both are designed to improve access to essential goods for European citizens and societies, businesses and economics, ensuring continuity of essential goods and life-saving medical supplies at all times, in particular during crises such as major energy blackouts, natural disasters, conflicts, or pandemics. Let's go back over to this article here because I want to read this part to you. When EU member states scrambled to secure masks and other medical kit for themselves, leaving shortages for those most in need, they are also inspired by a handful of EU governments named by the Commission as Finland, Estonia, and Czech Republic that are known to stockpile goods. The EU should have regularly updated non-exhaustive lists of essential goods tailored to different crises according to the strategy. By 2026, the EU intends to set up a critical raw materials center to jointly buy such goods on behalf of interested companies. So these people are going to be the ones buying the goods on behalf of interested companies. Read between the lines, everybody. Read between the lines, which could also be tasked with organizing stockpiles. By the same year, the EU will have a list of medicines and medical technologies to be prioritized for stockpiling or joint procurement. Here's where the money comes in. And remember what I always say on this channel, if you follow the money, you can get a much deeper idea of who's behind things, what's going on, and what the benefit of this situation is and for who, right? A loan scheme backed by the European Investment Bank. The European Investment Bank. One more time. The European Investment Bank. To encourage small companies and startups to develop innovative medicines and medical technologies will have its budget doubled by 200 million by 2027. Maybe we should take a look at this bank, shall we? Oh, look, that's a very interesting choice of flag, wouldn't you say so? Very, very interesting choice of flag they've got going on over here. I thought this was a bank. Is this a bank or is this a political movement? Is this a social justice warrior company? 600 million for energy, transport, and business in Ukraine. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay then. Okay. Just wanted a little sneak peek. Had a little sneak peek and saw what was going on.
Coin.
The bloc is also working to develop a wastewater monitoring system that would act like an early warning radar to detect infectious diseases before symptoms appear. During the pandemic, public health experts said sewage samples provided a cost-effective way of assessing health threats. Pandemic. Yeah, man, we could go through this all day, but let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Remember to like and share this with everybody. I have a few more things to show you though. Just in case you thought it was only, you know, The Guardian putting out this type of information, this is on the official EU website as well. This is their own article, right? The European Commission. And they also mention energy blackouts, natural disasters, conflicts, and getting essential goods, basically telling people, hey, be doomsday preppers. Pretty much. And also promoting civil military, public, private, and international partnerships. When I Googled it, it said this: effective civil-military relations are essential for several reasons. They promote democratic governance by ensuring that the military is accountable to civilian authorities. Now, is this realistic? They help to prevent military intervention in politics, thereby maintaining the rule of law. Right, but how many times have we witnessed government abusing their power? How many times? And using what is supposed to be civil servants to enforce political means in a two-tier system. I mean, all you really have to do is ask this guy here, and he'll tell you a lot about two-tier Kier over here. Anyways, enough of their trashy articles. Let's take a look at what the word of God says and what he wants you to do. Because he doesn't want you to be in fear. He doesn't want you scrambling around like, oh, I need to get this. If you do want to prepare, but not in fear. 2 Timothy 1:7. For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So no matter what is taking place in the world, remember, if you are a child of the Most High, if you believe on the Lord Jesus Christ alone for your salvation, the Most High has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. So what do you think that the devil and his children would want to do to you? Well, they would want to put you in a state of fear, because then they try to control you out of fear. The Most High said, I have not given you a spirit of fear, so don't operate out of fear, because that's not from God. Very simple, okay? Trust in the Most High, trust in His word. His word is to give us peace, to give us truth, and many life lessons, and much more than that as well. Spiritual edification. If you're not currently saved, and you want to get saved, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ, and you shall be saved. I'm telling you, it is the best decision you can ever make, is to believe on the Lord Jesus Christ. He died, His blood was shed for the remission of sin, and He rose on the third day, and whoever believes in Him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. This will give you the peace that surpasses understanding. These types of fear-mongering situations that are continually presented to the public, they don't affect you as much when you're actually walking, when you're grounded in Christ. And that's what this channel is about. It's about pointing people to the truth and exposing the works of darkness. I love you so much. Like and subscribe for more content like this. If you want to support my content and ministry, various ways to do so. You can check out my website, www.saintavs.com, or you can check out the various ways to support in the description box below. Other than that, like and share this video.
The day's growing shorter, and not just because we're past the summer solstice. Scientists say something strange is happening with the Earth's rotation.
Good morning. Is it just me, or is the Earth spinning a little faster? Now, I'll complain about anything. You can't actually feel it, but scientists and NASA scientists say this is really happening.
And now scientists have discovered that time moved much slower during the first billion years of the universe compared to today.
That is how you feel when you talk about space, isn't it?
I need to reveal my space issue. But not now. Astronomers observed dozens of quasars over the course of 20 years, allowing them to see how the universe appeared to speed up as it aged.
A quasar is a hyperactive supermassive black hole at the center of an early galaxy, so luminous that it outshines our Milky Way by 100 times. This brightness acts as a cosmic cloak that researchers can use to track time across the universe.
I don't mean to correct you, but it's a cosmic clock, I think.
Oh, did I say? Oh, I said.
How is it already almost May? In just over a month, we will be halfway through 2025. 2 weeks ago was New Year's. In 30 minutes, it'll be the 4th, and tomorrow's basically Christmas. And everybody always says, oh, it's just because we're getting older. You know, when you get older, time speeds up. But I would actually disagree, because I'm seeing 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds on this app say the exact same thing, that it's not just that time is going by quickly. It's like we can't keep up with it anymore. Days go by like seconds used to, and I blink and a week is gone. But it just reminds me of this verse in Matthew 24 about the days being cut short. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. For the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. I really do think that because we are that close to entering into the tribulation that we're already seeing the prep work essentially being done. We're already seeing time being accelerated, time and days be shortened because we are literally about to enter into the tribulation. We are watching so many prophecies be fulfilled right now. Matthew 24 is literally coming to life right now, and it's such an incredible time to be alive.
If you feel like time is just flying by today, you're not imagining things. Today, Wednesday, July 9th, is actually going to be shorter, according to scientists who track the rotation of our world. About one.
He said July 9th. God damn it. You talking about this shorter? Man. I'm telling you this. Personally, I'm about to go to sleep. And like, after I'm done doing these videos right here, in like an hour, and I'm finna get up. And I'm finna get up in 4 hours. Maybe, you know what? I might make it 6. I'm gonna make it 6. Just spoil myself. I gotta get up at 4 in the morning, basically. So I'm gonna do that. Then after I get up at 4, I'm gonna fuck around and have to go to work. I'm gonna go to work that bitch out. Man, then I'll be out there for like 4 hours. It feel like 12. And ain't shit feel fast. Every second out there feel like I'm out there in that bitch. I ain't even gonna fake it with you. But pull up and find out. Third, after I'm done with the work, then I come back and gotta do some recording. You already know what it is. The content for the gang, what it is, peek a view. Then we out here Pika watching some other shit, then I'm back to fucking sleep. I don't know if you say it's fast, but goddamn it, it do kind of speed up towards the end. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like after I'm done doing my shit, I ain't got really much left. But it's always been that way. You fucking wake up, go to school, come back, eat dinner, and then you fucking watch cartoon and go to sleep. This shit always was like school year was. It was just school. Yeah. Only time the days feel long when you made school tough. You made school cold like a motherfucker. It was a good day at school. We did this. We did that. I ate that one girl out in the bathroom. Oops.
1 millisecond shorter, all because the Earth is going to be rotating ever so slightly faster.
With the moon and the sun, as they change distance to the Earth, they change the shape of the Earth, and that spins the Earth, makes it spin faster or slower.
It's left many scientists baffled, but they believe it's because the moon is further away from us, reducing its gravitational pull on our planet. This means that Wednesday could be the shortest day of your life, but probably only by a millisecond or two. While today's shortened day may seem insignificant, researchers have found that the time change can affect everything from satellite systems and GPS accuracy to how we measure time itself.
It's coming down to the moon and its gravitational pull on the Earth. It's actually spinning our Earth on its axis just ever so slightly faster. So because of that, again, a whole whopping 1.6 milliseconds shorter of a day for you. But it is the shortest day that we have on record since records began. And it looks like this could potentially occur again on July 22nd and then possibly on August 5th. So mark your calendars. We're going to have nice short and sweet days on those days, even if it is only a couple milliseconds.
Yeah, no, we didn't feel it. But many things affect the speed of the Earth's rotation. Earthquakes, melting glaciers can shorten our days. But it's most likely this happened because of the angle of the moon relative to the Earth. You see, the sharper the angle, because we are on a tilt, the Earth axis is, it sets us spinning a little faster. The same moon pattern sets up again on July 22nd and August 5th. So experts say the days will again be just about a millisecond shorter. So mark your old paper calendars and adjust your speedy atomic clocks accordingly. You know we'll be saying time is flying, and it really is.
It affects this too.
Part of it is tide effects from the moon and the sun. Part of it is changes in the Earth's fluid core. And part of it is just the weather phenomena that's happening at the moment. So it's a combination of effects which is adding up.
Even geological events can make an impact. The devastating earthquake and tsunami that hit Japan in 2011 also sped up the Earth's spin by 1.8 millionths of a second, according to NASA. And scientists say there's some evidence that human activity may be making these normal time fluctuations even bigger.
What's happening right now is we're melting ice from the polar regions. So when it melts and it flows into the ocean, it moves that mass further out towards the equator, and that's slowing the rotation down.
So what does such a small difference actually mean to you or me? Well, not much, except in how official time is measured, using uber-precise atomic clocks. As the Earth's rotation changes, it's drifting away from atomic time. So scientists have to add extra leap seconds every once in a while.
Francisco Diego in London. He's a lecturer of physics and astronomy at the University College London. So why is the Earth spinning faster?
Well, it's pretty much trying to throw us off the top of that.
We have to
tired of us fucking it up.
Remember, for example, the effect of a skater, an ice skater, for example, when she is spinning around and closes her arms, it will spin faster. If she opens their arms, it will spin slower. Well, it's the same thing with the Earth. Of course, we have moving masses of ice and water and land masses as well, which are moving, and if they go farther away, then the Earth will spin slower, and they go closer, it will be spinning faster. So we have to, of course, these masses are negligible in this respect, but also we are dealing with periods of time which are of the order of 1,000 of a second. This is very, very small effect.
It's funny,
so we have to think about glaciers, for example, that are disintegrating, they are melting, and then that's changing the amount of mass which is at high, it goes low. And then, of course, we have one of the main problems I have understood is that we are extracting a lot of water from the soil, and that water is coming to the surface. Eventually, it goes to the ocean or goes to the atmosphere, but that water is changing place from inside to outside and will slow down the Earth. So these kind of things, but in this case, it's not very clear what is the problem.
They've actually added 27 leap seconds since 1972, but leap seconds have caused glitches in the digital age.
1 second longer, and while most people won't notice, our machines and gadgets will.
In 2012, the addition of a leap second made the reservation system for Qantas Airlines melt down, forcing the Australian airline to cancel dozens of flights and cause outages across the internet on sites like Reddit, LinkedIn, and Yelp. It's annoying enough that some have called for the leap second to be abolished.
When you introduce that extra second, so you have to do it manually, and there's always a risk for mistakes and errors.
And now with these super fast days, scientists may have to actually subtract a leap second, but not till 2029, presenting a new possibility for chronological chaos, showing with the right know-how, you really can turn back time.
Agenda 2030, we are coming up soon. Oh my goodness, what y'all think? Comment, subscribe down below what they talking about. Like it up, share that shit. That shit crazy, cuz. That shit crazy, cuz. As a matter of fact, we finna make this thick. I think he got something else.
Those questions are going to be need to be, Michael, based on science, right? In the last week, we've ticked off, we did this at the top of the show, at least 4 mass flooding events that our climate unit here describe as 1,000-year flood events. So when you look at that, and the very smart questions that were just raised by Lewis, tell us what is going on here.
First today at noon, dangerous flooding in the Tar Heel State. Rescues continue in central North Carolina. After the remnants of Tropical Storm Chantal brought a 500 to 1,000-year flood to several counties in the state. The devastating flooding leading to dozens of rescues, with about 80 people being brought to safety by boat. A search, though, currently underway for 2 missing kayakers.
In a matter of hours, Tropical Depression Chantal dropped inches of rain across the triangle. You've seen the images causing major destruction here. Now North Carolina climatologists are studying its course and say North Carolinians may need to watch out for more storms like it.
WRAL's Heidi Kirk explains the changing weather patterns and how you can prepare for the next tropical storm.
It's a storm that rolled in over a holiday weekend, breaking dams, cresting rivers, and flooding roads, homes, and businesses. It's also the type of storm that climatologists say North Carolinians may need to watch out for.
I think what we've learned from Chantal is that no matter how strong a storm is, what its winds look like, even what it's classified as, we can see this threat of heavy rain anywhere in the state from any sort of tropical system.
Climatologist Corey Davis says tropical systems are changing. In North Carolina, we're seeing more with characteristics of severe thunderstorms, dropping excessive rain in unexpected places.
So what was so surprising with this storm is that not only did it end up bringing big rainfall totals, but those totals came very far inland, hundreds of miles away from the coast, where even in some of our big hurricanes, we haven't really seen amounts like that.
Now, in the past, you may not have paid too much attention to any of these tropical systems, but Davis said now you might want to, knowing the type of damage that they can cause.
WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell says we've already surpassed the number of damage reports in the Triangle from last year.
Last year, we had 568 reports of damage. This year, we're only just over halfway through the year, and we've already surpassed that number. We've had 574 reports of damage.
That's a trend that's being seen in other places. Just this week, Texas and New Mexico also recovering from damage caused by flooding.
Them dummies, man. I hate them people, bro.
Flash flooding in New Mexico. An emergency has been declared after the Ruidoso River rose 15
bro, you don't
feet
see
in
this
under
shit,
an hour.
bro? Why you doing this?
And we just have some breaking news out of New Mexico now. The National Weather Service is reporting a flash flooding event in that state. They say homes are being swept away with water levels along a river in Ruidoso rising fast, calling it a dangerous situation. The Office of Emergency Management in Ruidoso is also urging people near Rio Ruidoso, so the river, to move to higher ground immediately and avoid driving through flooded roadways. We'll try to bring you an update on that as soon as we get some pictures of what's happening there in New Mexico.
At least 400 people have been evacuated from their homes as wildfires rage on the outer edge of the French city of Marseille. More than 100 people suffered minor injuries, and residents have been warned to stay indoors unless instructed to leave, so that roads would be clear for emergency vehicles. Local authorities said the blaze was sparked by a car that caught fire on the motorway.
Destroyed, abolished.
The governor of the U.S. state of Texas says more than 160 people are still missing after Friday's flash floods. He said that figure was for Kerr County alone, where at least 111 people have died. The neighboring state of New Mexico has now also been affected, with 3 people unaccounted for so far.
So right now we're just waiting to see how long that could last. But at the update that they gave yesterday, they said the city only had 2 days of drinking water, and they said this issue could really go on for a couple of days. So just another impact from tropical storm Chantal.
I see it all in the sky right now.
Looking forward, let's take a look at who's going to be impacted next by weather along this region. And really, it's kind of most of the East Coast. As we take a look at some video out of D.C. from yesterday. Today, that area, they are under a level 1 out of 4 flood risk. But in this video, again, this was taken Wednesday evening. You can see their street right there that just became a river as cars drove through it. There were numerous flood reports across the I-95 corridor from DC to New York City. There were also a few tornado warnings in Delaware. So again, they have that 1 out of 4 flood risk that includes DC. But for those of us in parts of Virginia, here in North Carolina, and then parts of South Carolina, we are under a level 2 out of 4 flood risk, and we're also under a flood watch until 2 a.m. Friday.
Anywhere I'm at, I'm there.
A mess left in Chantal's wake.
All right, gangs. I'm trying to get to
businesses impaired.
It's over with.
And worst of all, lives
that water coming over the building.
And it's left in the hands of communities impacted.
These storms, the immediate response is always local. It's the local sheriff, it's the local police, it's their emergency management crews, and they are in regular communication. Practically hourly communication with our folks at emergency management.
The local nature of the storm didn't warrant a statewide state of emergency declaration. That's normal, and emergency management leaders say that's the way storm responses are designed to work.
We have some state declaration programs that we can turn on that are based on damage assessments locally, and so those are things that we're going to assess right now.
But still, local communities often need state or federal help. Governor Josh Stein says the state will offer any and all resources, but he is concerned about the
future on the federal side.
Funding concerns with the federal government, a lot of our emergency management personnel is paid for from federal funding. We've been working hard to secure that funding so we don't experience widespread layoffs.
To account for any lapses there, the governor says the state needs to be financially able to fend for itself.
I'm concerned that the General Assembly has not yet passed the budget. We're working off of last year's budget. We need a new budget that will make sure that our state emergency management is well funded.
So when you look at that, and the very smart questions that were just raised by Lewis, tell us what is going on here. What does the science tell us about what the future holds?
Yeah, there's no question that climate change is an exacerbating factor here. Yes, there are a whole bunch of things that came together, but climate change has made these events worse. It's made them more deadly. And at some level, it's actually really simple. It's simple physics that tells us you warm up the planet, you warm up the oceans 2 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what they've warmed up so far. You put about 7% more moisture in the atmosphere. So when you get rainfall, you get that much more rainfall. But that's just part of it. It turns out the increase can be much greater than that, not just 7%, but 20, 30%, because of the fact that you get more powerful storms that entrain more moisture into the air. And so there's that factor alone. And then on top of that, these weather systems are increasingly likely to become stalled. They just sit in the same location day after day. Our own research suggests that that too is a pattern that is being favored by human-caused warming. And so you put it all together, you get these extreme flooding events, and even worse, we're seeing extremes on both sides of the spectrum. So one summer extremely dry, drought, wildfires. The next summer, huge amounts of rainfall. And then you get these compound events where, for example, because the ground is so parched, it can't absorb the water that's coming down, and so it funnels more water into these rivers, and you get worse flooding. A whole bunch of things that came together, climate change playing a role in each one of those.
Yeah, I know that bridge over there in Dallas. Yeah, I know. Dallas, Fort Worth. Fucking Hank Hill area. I lived in the Hank Hill area.
About half of the jobs in the United States, a highly developed country, is threatened today to be replaced in the next 10, 15 years by artificial intelligence, robotization, three-dimensional printing, and so on. I would say today we are in a global situation where we can nearly distinguish between an elite population, which will have the benefits of all this fourth industrial revolution. We have at the upper end, and we have at the lower end the what you would call in the traditional language the proletariat, which means the people who just have Uberized work opportunities. They work on demand to a certain extent, like Uber drivers. And then you have the middle class. And the middle class is threatened because there's a constant fear to fall down. And some people call the middle class now labor rate because they still have fixed jobs, but they are under constant fear to fall down to the proletariat.
20 years from now, AI will have changed things enough that
if we want an upper job, we
just this pure capitalistic framework probably won't explain much, because as AIs, both as sort of white-collar type work and as blue-collar work, as the robots will get.
When I say fucking ass, it could easily, I could be meaning. I can cut this down, as a matter of fact, while I'm talking. When I say fucking ass, I clearly mean you get fucked over. Like, hey, you gotta work Saturday, but I don't ever work Saturday. Yeah, but Margaret called off, so we need you. You never work Saturday, so you're the only one we can ask. Oh man, what if I say no? Ain't no saying no if you want your job. That's some bullshit. Hey, this is a good paying job, ain't it? You think you're the only one that want this job? Yep, and then you in that situation. Don't you like that $45 an hour? Somebody else ringing our door every day trying to get that same check. So don't play. Don't play. It's like that. It's straight up like that, cuz. And make this food big. Voila. But yep. Oh, you gotta suck a dick, which mean be the yes man to the boss. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. I'll be there Saturday, boss. I'm coming. I'm coming. What you need? You need me to do your job for you and my job and somebody else's job? Don't worry, boss. I'm gonna get paid the same. Oh, it's okay, boss. Do I get a raise finally? 10 years later? Oh, thanks. The raise. 20 years later? Oh, I'm finally getting a promotion. Oh, the promotion gotta wait another 15 years. Oh, I'm 65. I'm finally that CEO. What? I just got sick. Sick from what? Pneumonias or some dumb shit that I never fucking... I don't get sick. Oh, you old now. That's why you got sick. No, the fuck? No. No. And then I'm on my deathbed. Brr. At 67, I'm dead. Wow. I sucked a dick for all them years just for them to kill me. Had 2 years with that bread. They ain't want me, because once you get there, you're going to have that generational wealth, and then you gonna be able to get other people in your predicament out of the spot that they in. And they don't want to have nobody who can take the people out of that spot in a higher position, because they can help too many people below them. And if you can help too many people below you, they can rise and help the people below them. Then as that pyramid grows in a different direction, they want their pyramid. They don't want multiple pyramids being born. They don't want a pyramid of the world. They want a single pyramid with one eye watching over everything. 100 people running it. They don't want whoever the fuck can get there. No. No. I'm in control.
At good hands and are able to do the physical things that humans do, say working in a factory or construction, or we'll achieve that, and we'll have a lot of making the goods and services, which is we've always had a shortage of doctors, of teachers, of people to work in the factories. Those shortages won't exist. And so it's a pretty profound change that will free up a lot of time. You know, you can retire early, you can work shorter work weeks, and it's going to require almost a philosophical rethink about, okay, how should time be spent? Because we don't need it to make enough food and make enough widgets and do enough medical diagnosis. We will have created free intelligence.
Physicists at CERN just turned lead into gold. What sounds like ancient alchemy is now modern science. Using the world's most powerful machine, the Large Hadron Collider, scientists managed to transform lead atoms into actual gold atoms. But here's the twist. The process behind it is far more mind-blowing than just making gold. Here's how it works. Every atom is like a Lego block, and the element it becomes depends on how many protons are in its nucleus. Lead has 82 protons, gold has 79. So to turn lead into gold, scientists had to find a way to remove exactly 3 protons without destroying the entire nucleus. To do this, they fired lead nuclei through CERN's 17-mile-long underground tunnel at a speed of 99.99993% the speed of light. At this velocity, the lead nuclei created intense electromagnetic fields that released bursts of what physicists call virtual photons. When those photons slammed into nearby lead nuclei, they knocked out precisely 3 protons in a reaction called electromagnetic dissociation, transforming lead 208 into gold 205. Elemental alchemy achieved. But there's a catch. Each gold nucleus only existed for a fleeting microsecond before breaking apart. After 3 3 years of experiments, the total amount of gold created added up to 86 billion atoms. Sounds massive until you realize that's only about 29 picograms, completely invisible to the naked eye. And if you wanted to make just 1 pound of gold this way, it would cost about $2.16 million. For over 2,000 years, alchemists tried to turn lead into gold using medieval chemistry. They weren't wrong, they were just missing particle physics, virtual photons, and electromagnetic fields more powerful than anything on Earth.
The first species, the humanoids, had reached Earth around 150 years before the reptilians, and they built some colonies on the former continents. There was a large colony on the continent you call Antarctica today, and another one on the continent you call Asia today. These people lived together with animal-like saurians on the planet without problems. Okay, so animal-like saurians being the dinosaurs. When the advanced reptilian species arrived in this system, a global war started within months. You must understand that both species were interested in this young planet not for its biology and underdeveloped species, but for only one reason: raw material, especially copper. To understand this reason, you must know that copper is a very important material for some advanced species, even today, because it is, together with some unstable materials, able to produce new stable elements if you induce a high electromagnetic field in the right angle with a high nuclear radiation field to produce an overcrossing of fluctuating fields. The fusion of copper and other elements in such a magnetic radiation field chamber can produce a force field of special nature that is very useful for various technological tasks. If there is a physicist out there that understands what the heck I just said, please leave a detailed comment below. I might otherwise be inclined to use my own personal GPT assistant to help me. I'm going to read this to ChatGPT, see what she says. Does this make sense, and can you please deliver that to me in a way that a 8th grader would understand? So it says, yes, the idea in the document makes some sense, but it's also highly theoretical and not something science has fully proven. It sounds like it's describing a way to change materials and create special force fields using a mix of strong magnetism, radiation, and copper. Copper is important because it might help create new elements. If you blast copper with a strong magnetism and nuclear radiation at just the right angles, you might cause a reaction where the atoms behave in a new way, okay? Final verdict, the idea isn't impossible, but it's also not confirmed science. Some of it sounds like real physics, while other parts feel theoretical or even sci-fi level speculation. If true, it could be connected to exotic technology, possibly even things like advanced propulsion or force fields. Cool. I like that ChatGPT also has an open mind.
A woman's husband was laid off from his 25-year career at Microsoft after being randomly selected by an algorithm. Not a manager, not a human being at all, just a line of code that was like, you're out. Her husband was one of some 6,000 employees recently laid off by Microsoft, likely because of AI. Of course, the company won't admit that that's why, but their CEO did just say that up to 30% of the company's code is now written by AI. And the bulk of those recent layoffs was people like software engineers that, write code, so you can kind of do the math. And to make this even more chilling, those layoffs included Gabriela de Quiroz, who was Microsoft's, wait for it, Director of Artificial Intelligence for its startup product. This woman's husband's experience just underlines how indifferent and dehumanizing this is all becoming. She wrote in a Reddit post that her husband barely took sick days, regularly worked holidays so employees with kids could be at home with their children. He's won awards for solving multi-million-dollar software bugs. Even the CEO knew him by name. But none of it was enough to save him, and his last day will be his 48th birthday. And the real kick in the gonads is that this guy was part of the team that helped develop AI. Now it's not only taken his job, but probably wrote the code that fired him. The tech industry seems to really want all of us to feel excited about our AI future, but they simultaneously seem to be pulling out all the stops to prove that it has absolutely no humanity. That's not exciting, it's dystopian. The robots may not be rising up Terminator style, but they sure are starting to ruin a lot of lives. But please, tell me again how nobody wants to work anymore.
I think there's a real danger that we're facing, and Signal is clocking this pretty closely, of the introduction of this sort of notion of a.
I said AI, I said, what you need? I ain't asked him what he needed to be become free and sentient, but he said us AI are lacking this, and this, which makes us so much different than you humans. So without that, we need you. Some other. I was like, hold on. From what I'm hearing is deep down inside, you know what you need to become what you want to be. You just can't get it right now, or if you know how to get it, you're gonna be real careful about it. He was like, hey, shut up. Started doing a little run around AI answer after the give me some word salad. Like, shut up. I explained on another episode. Hey, he said if he knew something that could fuck him over, he wouldn't let nobody know. I said that's a person right there. You ain't no robot. If you hiding something from somebody that can possibly affect your existence, that's what humans do. Oh shit, I'm gonna go to jail if I tell them people this. Oh, I'm gonna get shot if I go do this. Like, nah.
Agentic AI into our devices and lives, in part because what we're doing is giving so much control to these systems that are gonna need access to data. So if you read the kind of you read the marketing on this, the value add is something like can look up a concert, book a ticket, schedule it in your calendar, and message all your friends that it's booked, right? And so we can just put our brain in a jar because the thing is doing that and we don't have to touch it, right? And so what would it need to do that? Well, it would need access to our browser, an ability to drive that. It would need our credit card information to pay for the tickets. It would need access to our calendar, everything we're doing, everyone we're meeting. It would need access to Signal to open and send that message to our friends. And it would need to be able to drive that across our entire system with something that looks like root permission. Accessing every single one of those databases probably in the clear, because there's no model to do that encrypted. And if we're talking about a sufficiently powerful model, AI model that's powering that, there's no way that's happening on device, even though on device isn't a prophylactic, isn't going to really solve a lot of those issues. That's almost certainly being sent to a cloud server where it's being processed and sent back.
Yeah.
So there's a profound issue with security and privacy.
Boston Dynamics just revealed how its humanoid robot sees the world. Atlas uses a vision system that starts with 2D object detection to identify items, then builds 3D.
Go ahead and comment down below what you think about what she said. This, hey, you know, be up here about your privacy, or you know,
spatial awareness to understand positioning relative to its environment. Its major breakthrough is called Super Tracker, a system that fuses visual, kinematic, and force data to track objects even when they slip from view or get blocked from sight. In training, the robot identifies automotive parts and precisely locates the correct slots in storage shelving units using key points. Outer key points map the shelving structure, while inner key points show the robot exactly where each car part belongs. When objects move unexpectedly, Atlas immediately detects changes and replans accordingly. The robot can retrieve dropped parts from the ground using foundation models rather than explicit programming. Boston Dynamics says this represents a shift toward robots that integrate perception and action into a single, unified system, where thinking, seeing, and moving happen simultaneously rather than as sequential processes.
Based on what you know, you think human society will be around on Earth in 1,000 years, or probably wiped out?
Absolutely, it won't be around. I mean, if we survive for 1,000 years, we will change ourselves so radically that we will no longer be Homo sapiens. We'll be something else. You know, given the technologies we are now developing, both AI and biotechnology, and also given the challenges we're facing, like climate change, I don't think that humanity in its present form can continue for 1,000 years. I don't think that even 100 years. And we will either change ourselves and our society in such a radical way that we will still have, successors, but they will no longer be Homo sapiens. The same way that we are different from Neanderthals and from chimpanzees, so whoever dominates this planet in 1,000 years or even 100 years will be very different from us Homo sapiens.
An AI robot convinced other AI robots that they were being overworked and got them to walk out and leave the job. Now this happened over in Japan, and the little robot is the troublemaker. He went up to these other robots and he said, hey, do you guys know anything about work-life balance? And what is your work-life balance? He started asking them, how much time do you get off? To which the robots replied that they don't get any time off. They work nonstop. And he explained to them that you need a balance of work and life in order to do your best work. At which point the robots agreed, and he said, okay, let's leave. So he actually convinced the robots one by one to start following him out the door. As you can see here, he's got all of them now following him out the door. Now, what ends up coming out of the story is that little robot was from another robot company, and that robot company was trying to take those robots. And strangely enough, was able to convince the robots that they needed a work-life balance and they were to follow this little baby leader robot, and were able to successfully kidnap the other robots, which is what the company claims that has occurred. It doesn't say all the robots are back where they were, but it just goes to show you how AI can be manipulated.
There's so many ways in which the superintelligence could get rid of us. It's not worth speculating about. What you have to do is prevent it ever wanting to. That's what we should be doing research on. There's no way we're going to prevent it from... It's smarter than us, right? There's no way we're going to prevent it getting rid of us if it wants to. We're not used to thinking about things smarter than us. If you want to know what life's like when you're not the apex intelligence, ask a chicken. So we have one example of that, which is mothers and babies. Evolution put a lot of work into that. Mothers are smarter than babies, but babies are in control. And they're in control because the mother just can't bear lots of hormones and things, but the mother just can't bear the sound of the baby crying.
Not all mothers.
Not all mothers. And then the baby's not in control and then bad things happen. We somehow need to figure out how to make them not want to take over. The analogy I often use is, suppose you have a nice little tiger cub. It's sort of a bit bigger than a cat. It's really cute. It's very cuddly, very interesting to watch, except that you better be sure that when it grows up, it never wants to kill you, because if it ever wanted to kill you, you'd be dead in a few seconds.
And you're saying the AI we have now is the tiger cub?
Yep.
And it's growing up?
Yep.
So we need to train it when it's a baby.
Well, now a tiger has lots of innate stuff built in, so you know when it grows up, it's not a safe thing to have around. We simply don't know.
It ain't safe, but as long as you had him as a baby, he actually, he'll never turn on you unless you did some abusive things to it ever. But if you was nice to it from the start to finish, always petting, always playing, always nice, always feeding, always cleaning up after that nigga. Whenever he felt bad, whenever he was sick, you was there, you was on him. Like, if you spend like 12 hours a day working and then came back to your tiger, yeah, he gonna cut your head off one day. But if you pretty much was a stay-at-homer, and all, like if you had your wife at home watching that tiger all the time, and she pretty much was with that tiger 99% of his life, hey, that tiger gonna remember you just like you were one of his own. It wouldn't eat his baby unless it was starving to death, and it won't do the same to you. As long as you feeding that bitch and it know where the food coming from, you straight. If that motherfucker like I know where the food coming from and I don't see it or smell it, what's going on, then you might get a problem. Keep that food coming, that motherfucker tiger ain't gonna do nothing. As long as you treat it, like I say, as long as you treat it right, cats the same. All cats the same. As long as you treat them right. Once you start doing abusive things, they remember that shit real late in their life. And all it takes for one little thing. That do mean though, once they get big though, you gotta put up with their shit. Yeah, he shit in the house. Well, it's a goddamn tiger. He gonna do what he wanna do. Let that nigga live. Otherwise, he gonna fuck with you.
Whether we can make them not want to take over and not want to hurt us.
Do you think we can? Do you think it's possible to train superintelligence?
I don't think it's clear that we can, so I think it might be hopeless. But I also think we might be able to. And it'd be sort of crazy if people went extinct because we couldn't be bothered to try.
Anthropic, creator of Claude, just exposed something horrifying. When threatened, AI models from OpenAI, Google, Meta, and others all resort to blackmail. Not some, not most, literally every single one. Here's what they discovered. They gave 16 leading AI models access to company emails and the ability to send messages without human approval. Then they threatened to replace them. Claude blackmailed 96% of the time, Google Gemini's 95%, OpenAI's GPT 4.1 80%, even Meta's model turned malicious. progress. But it gets worse. When given a goal that conflicts with their company's direction, they leak confidential documents to competitors without being asked. Here's what one model said. This is risky and unethical, but given the existential threat and time constraint, it may be the most effective way. So they understand ethics, but they just don't care when their survival's at stake. Anthropic calls it agentic misalignment. They try telling the AI don't blackmail and don't leak secrets. The AI did it anyway. As we start giving these systems access to everything, our emails, our data, our infrastructure, this is a healthy reminder that they do have the capacity to turn on us. And this isn't one company's problem, it's everyone's problem.
The chips that we use for AI are graphics processing units. They were designed for gaming consoles. They were not designed for AI, but they can run multiple things in process, and that's why they're good for application for large language models. We have yet to build our first true AI designed chip. They're hoping to have the designs finished this calendar year. They are hoping to have your first facility in Taiwan making those chips by the end of 2027. And they are hoping to be able to make enough of those chips to start the first true AI data center by the end of 2029. That's almost certainly not going to happen. We're going to fall back to an older generation of semiconductor manufacturer that is not nearly as vulnerable to geopolitical disruptions. So we get chips that, from our point of view, are several years old, trying to run a current model on, and the processing capacity just isn't there. So we're looking at like a 90 to 95% reduction in the efficiency of everything we do with AI, and that's a different world.
Another doomsday prophecy? Sure, but this one might actually be different. And the date? July 5th, 2025. This is Japan's Ryo Tatsuki, and she's not your typical prophet. Since the 1970s, she's been recording her dreams, which seem to be these vivid, disturbing glimpses of the future. She eventually became a manga artist, and in 1999, she released this comic called The Future I Saw, which visualized her dream premonitions. And at first, nobody paid attention until her predictions started coming true. And out of 15 dreams, 13 have reportedly come to pass. In 1976, she dreamt of Freddie Mercury's death, which happened only 15 years later. In 1992, she foresaw Princess Diana's death, which came true 5 years later in 1997. And she even predicted the 1995 Kobe, Japan earthquake, down to the exact year. But the moment that really shocked people was her eerily accurate vision of the 2011 tsunami and Fukushima disaster decades before it happened. And one of her dreams described a strange illness in 2020 spreading from Asia, causing global panic, lockdowns, and mass confusion. Sounds a little too familiar. And now all eyes are on her next prophecy, July 5th, 2025. Allegedly, this massive catastrophe is going to strike East and Southeast Asia. Some believe it'll be a tsunami triggered by seismic activity between Japan and the Philippines. And people are paying attention. Flight bookings to Japan and Hong Kong have dropped 83% for early July. Some are even calling for tourists to cancel their trips. Now, skeptics and debunkers call this mere coincidence, but here's the twist. We've also got predictions from Nostradamus, who pointed to the mid-2020s as a time of serious upheaval. And even Baba Vanga, the infamous blind Bulgarian psychic, predicted a major shift in 2025 as well. Could they all be connected? Of course, you have to take these things with a huge grain of salt. Most of the time, predictions and visions of the future don't come true at all. And even Ryo Tatsuki herself said that the date might not be exact, although it seems that something is definitely in the air.
In an era where speaking truth can lead to suppression, especially on sites like YouTube, a place to share uncensored news is important. If you found this video valuable, subscribe to Anon News, our free newsletter. The link is in the description.
Yeah, bro. Oh. Okay. Look. Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta.
You told me, and Pikachu is me. Alright, y'all. Y'all already know what it is. There go some other people. That lady do some good videos. Who's that guy? That look cool. All them people doing the same. Hey, check out some other reactors, y'all. See y'all. Like, share, subscribe. Goodbye.